Hey everybody, we just finished a very fun show where we cut mother of pearl for the first time live on sessions and we inlaid it into this origin made guitar neck. We have a really cool repeatable jig that even if we wanted to cut this again or put it back in and make edits, we could.
You can join sessions always at sessions.shapertools.com. Every other Thursday, 4 o'clock Pacific, we have a live show where you can ask questions, talk to your fellow peers, and win some giveaways. So we hope you'll join us there and enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shaper Sessions. My name is Jake.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're cutting mother of pearl into guitar neck. Into the head of a guitar, I should say. I'm going to do a little decorative detail.
I don't think I've ever cut mother of pearl.
We have not done that yet on the show. I've done it a few times, and it is such a cool experience because it cuts beautifully. And it's just another material to add to your repertoire. So, let's talk about mother of pearl. What is it? Well, it's not a bunch of pearls crushed together like I thought. It's actually abalone shell.
And tell the mighty folk what an abalone is, Jake.
Abalone is a mollusk, very tasty mollusk. Big, beautiful shell. I don't know exactly how they get a flat piece of shell out of what is a very curved shell, but
yeah, let's. We should jump over to the Google real quick because people might not know. These are all over the coast of California. If you're walking on the beach, you'll see them, and they're just this huge curved shell, and they have a little organism inside that they pull out somehow, and then you have this beautiful little leftovers. So, how they get it flat, can't tell you. Maybe someone in the comments is telling us right now.
Very common decorative use in guitars. So we're going to take a design that we built in studio and cut it out of a mother of pearl and then inlay it into the head of a guitar that we also cut with origin.
Very nice.
All right. So cutters, there are cutters specifically for mother of pearl because it is very high. It's brittle. It cuts similar to like a corian almost. It's very hard, but very brittle.
Yep.
So they recommend 3 flute cutters. Now, I also want to get a lot of detail in this cut. So you can't find a 3 flute cutter that goes down to a 32nd of an inch, which is what I'm going to be using today. So what I'm going to be cutting today with is a 2 flute, 32nd inch diameter bit with a 16th of an inch cutting flute length.
Tiny.
Yeah, I like the shorty ones because they're less fragile. And if I'm only cutting 16th of an inch deep, kind of right on the money, less likely to break.
Yeah, pro tip, if you are buying these micro cutters, get a couple. You may break a few on the way to finding the right speeds. But we're going to go over those today, so hopefully we can save you a couple broken bits.
Yeah. But as you go up in size, if you can also find 4 and 3 flute cutters, usually on an 1/8 inch shank. So you'll need our 1/8 inch collet. But these are fantastic. Still solid carbide.
Yeah, you can see the difference here between the 1/8 inch and the 32nd is pretty different.
Yeah. Yep. Another important note is mother of pearl is very high in silica. So it's very important that you have great dust collection. I'd even go as far as wearing a mask if you can while working with it because you do not want to inhale this dust.
Good to know.
All right.
Benefit of having a vac attached. You know, if you look back, people would saw this with little fret saws.
Yeah, that's true.
Before origin.
Before origin. All right, I got a little double-sided tape on the back of my mother of pearl, and what I've gone ahead and done is I pocketed out an area that is just slightly deeper than my material is thick. It's small enough to where origin is going to ride firmly on this surface, but allows this to be recessed. So if I have a really nice surface finish on my mother of pearl, I'm not at risk of scratching it up.
Yeah, and this is a trick I've seen a few people take advantage of. You know, if you're cutting brass or any other material, especially material where you don't want it to scratch, if origin's riding on that surface, or if you have a very small piece, this stuff doesn't get very large by nature of where they get it from. And so, yeah, just a little recess means any of your chips will not be in between the piece and origin's base, but it will actually be, sitting below it, and you go right over the top. So pretty cool little trick for brass, especially because the chips of brass get really scratchy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you are cutting that material or any other material where you don't want it to mar up along the way, this is a great little tip. And you can just mill that out of MDF or kind of any material will do.
Nice. I got my micro cutter chucked up here. I'm going to tell it that our bit size is 1/32, and it's going to just automatically prompt me to do a manual Z-touch. It's in that small enough range to where you could auto touch off, but you'll likely dent your material or break your cutter. So bring it down, just tapping that green button until I just kiss the material. Okay. Let's go ahead and start off with a fresh scan, just so I can see exactly where my piece of pearl is. That'll do. Whenever scanning, just as a reminder, whenever scanning in BenchPilot, we like to do it clipped in, and then we come back and add to scan to get the remainder of your workspace in. All right, there we are. Now for the design. Cool thing about this design, I made it in Studio just by using Find Art. So there's a ton of stuff in Find Art, vectors that you can just grab and use in whatever fashion that you want. I searched filigree because I wanted something kind of old school and
nice,
swooshy. And there's a lot of symmetrical designs, but I just grabbed parts of the design that I wanted to use and came up with this. Rotate that. And I wanted to maximize the use of my piece of mother of pearl. So I actually used trace and just shot the image of trace.
Oh, nice.
Using trace to get the exact size of my piece of mother of pearl. So I kind of nestle in there and make sure that we're using the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty small pieces, and you'll have to make use of, exactly what you need.
Yeah. Right.
Less waste.
Going to change these to outside cuts. Outside cut. And I don't want to cut this, so we'll just turn that to a guide. Going real shallow, 0.07, just slightly deeper than my material is thick. I'm going to click in. And let's play with our passes. Bump my roughing pass up to 5 thou. And I think we could just do this in 2 depth passes.
Nice.
I'm going to run it pretty slow because it is a hard material. It's a very tiny cutter. So I think about 15 inches per minute on BenchPilot is going to be just kind of the perfect slow and steady.
And what about the plunge speed? Where do you have that set to?
I didn't actually mess with the plunge speed.
But that's default.
That's a good point. Plunge speed is how fast Origin takes the cutter from the top surface of the material into its first cut depth. And on anything dense or delicate, it's a good idea to bump that down. So let's go.
I mean, I would say this is like the number one thing that happens with broken bits, especially on these small ones, is if your plunge speed's too high, it's going to be taking a lot of material at once, and you'll break it instantly a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Preemptively turn my speed down to 15.
Nice.
And we are set and ready to go. Spindle speed 4. All right.
All right, so a couple around the go, and these 2 pieces. We're doing 2 pieces here, Jake.
Yeah. 2 different little design elements that'll come together.
Now, when you were testing this to get, the auto and the spindle speed and all those, how did you kind of approach that? With it, like if you're someone new to this material, how do you know what to even look for?
Well, I was fortunate to have 2 of these cutters, one in my back pocket in case.
Nice.
And I just started slow, like 5 inches per minute, kept my eye on it, and turned it up until I felt like it was moving at a decent speed. I was getting good dust extraction because this stuff doesn't chip. It really just turns to powder.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting when you were saying it cuts kind of like Corian. I'm so used to Corian having these like flaky chips that go everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're almost like, I don't know, they're like confetti or something.
So I guess in that regard, it's not like Corian.
Yep. Some people would say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And when it comes to micro cutters, I would say they have a pretty good motto there.
That is a great motto.
Yeah. It is one. I mean, like, as you're trying those speeds out on different types of materials, like, you're bound to break one on accident. You'll have your auto speed too fast or your plunge rate too high. Or, I mean, another big one is just having too big of a pass per cut. With these micro cutters, the amount of how much it can take per pass is really dependent on the material.
I also these parts are so small, I don't want to risk them being bumped around, so that's why I'm also running 15 inches per minute. Really let the cutter do the work.
Yep. Nice.
And it's so delicate that I made a little runway ramp here. So that
I like this little runway ramp. It's pretty nice.
So I could really wiggle my way in there.
This is where your scraper rocks.
There we go. It's that sharpened edge.
Yep. And the bendy factor. Yeah, definitely be careful with these parts as you're moving them around. Don't drop them. They will shatter.
It's actually surprisingly strong.
Yeah?
I mean, nature is crazy, right?
Let me see.
Great test.
Yeah, pretty good.
Solid test.
Didn't break, so maybe you don't have to worry so much. Looks good though. Cut quality looks great.
Yeah, these little tiny micro cutters do a great job.
You want to show the result off in the detail cam so people can see what they should be looking for?
The man, that is just flawless. And it also gives us pretty sharp points.
Yeah, having the smaller bit is going to make sure that the inlay looks a little tighter and doesn't have that classic round CNC inlay look.
Yeah.
And so this 30-second bit is really nice for that. I mean, at 30-second bit, you're kind of down to like, can you really tell that it was cut? A little bit if you really pay attention, but it's pretty good.
If you start getting into trying to do text, especially like cursive text that gets really thin in spots, I would probably forego a roughing and finishing pass because what's going to knock it loose or break a piece while you're cutting it is that finishing pass.
Yeah.
Because it's not supported. It's just hanging on by the double-sided tape. So if you're doing text inlays, which this would do a great job, probably go straight to 0 and just slow your speed down on bench power.
The other approach I've had with this, Jake, is actually like if you go to the auto pass settings, you could turn off the roughing pass setting and then set your global depth with a small offset there, run that, and then change it to 0 and run it again, and then your final pass will have multiple depths. but it won't be fully loaded.
So you're essentially leaving onion skin.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing the roughing passes manually and then changing it to remove them to do that final cleanup, but at least you get the per depth cuts.
I like that.
So you don't have that big, load on the side of the material on that final pass.
Yeah. And it's the side load that we see
Correct.
things
Now,
falling off.
One of the reasons we do the roughing pass is because it will clean that profile up a lot. And so you may see like a small step cut if you don't do a full pass at the end, but it's probably pretty close.
For an inlay, it doesn't matter much.
Correct. So, little tip.
All right. For our poll question today, we want to know what materials have you cut and what are your favorite materials to cut?
Oh, we made it to the break.
Yeah.
All right.
Is
Nice.
it right to the break?
Right to the break. Okay, cool. So put that in the thing. It should pop up on your screen.
Yep.
And that's going to register you for the giveaways. And if you don't have a material, just put anything.
I mean, the easy one is just wood. But
It's true.
Yeah, what kind
We're
of wood?
hoping there's better. Okay, Jake. So you go first. What's your favorite? And don't say mother of pearl.
Oh, what about white oak?
If it's your favorite, it's your favorite.
I actually am going to say end grain white oak.
Really?
It's just a beautiful thing.
Okay.
It,
I have to trust you, I guess.
it smells because you haven't touched it since the day you decided you had a mortal enemy against it.
Mortal enemies. Nemesis.
End grain, really any hardwood end grain, but specifically white oak because when you're cutting big tenons and you're doing a full 1.25 inch deep finish pass on a tenon and you just see the curls coming off of it.
Nice.
That's my favorite.
I'm going to go with brass.
You like cutting brass?
Love brass.
Did you feel that way before Bench Pilot?
Yeah.
Good.
I
You had
felt
a
that
dial
way
then.
when AutoPass came out.
Very important.
Before
distinction.
AutoPass, I did not love brass so much.
Yeah.
AutoPass kind of changed my love for brass. And then when Bench Pilot came out, it was like, this is even better.
Yeah.
Especially the little trick of putting something that's at the flat with a little inlay in it so the chips don't scratch up your material on the bottom of origin. And I mean, it's like you can make little hinges, like things that, I don't know, a little brass in a wood project just is my new favorite thing,
Is there a wood species that brass doesn't work with?
I think there's some. I mean, obviously walnut's the killer combo.
It really is.
Maple and brass don't do much for me.
White and gold?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I'm not one of those white and gold watch kind of guys, But yeah, I mean,
Purple heart
there's a
and
lot.
gold?
Oh, Purple Heart. Come on, Jake.
Yeah, man.
If someone puts Purple Heart in the comments,
Don't knock Purple Heart. Okay. Hopefully that was enough time to answer poll question. Today's shop tour comes to us from just down the peninsula. Jesse Vanderhoff, thanks for sending it in. Let's check out your shop.
Hey Shaper team, Jesse from San Jose, California here. I'm going to take you on a tour of my indoor-outdoor workshop with a car in the garage most of the time. I do a lot of my work outdoors, but do have some tool storage in this shed and in the garage. In here we got a router table, Shaper Origin plate and workstation, sawhorses and other non-woodworking items, Festool vacuum and dust separator, table saw and miter saw, clamps and saw tracks, a couple different Festool items, track saw, router, some sanders, miscellaneous wood bits here, and that about does it for the shed. I'll take you to the garage storage next. Alright, moving on to the garage storage. We got the Husky workstation with the wall of battery chargers, because hey, who can stick to one ecosystem? Number of other at-hand items, screwdrivers, pens, pencils, squares, etc. Done a bit of 3D printing to try to keep everything organized. countersink and router 3D printed organizers, and a couple custom inserts. The orange drawer full of rigid tools. And a couple more 3D printed bits. These are holders for the oscillating tool sander pads. That about does it for the garage tour. Next I'll show you the outdoor setup. This is the outdoor setup. I'll always have the Bora centipede table set up. Put a custom MDF tabletop with dog holes on it. Super handy for fixing workpieces, and right now fixing the Shaper workstation. Getting more familiar with the system's capabilities for joinery. Gotta say the easy box joint is pretty incredible. As needed, I'll have the miter saw and table saw set up. Big fan of the TSO upgraded fence and GSM stock guides. So that'll do it for the tour. Thank you, Shaper team. Thanks, everybody.
Yo, Jesse coming in with the video editing.
Dude, I need more video editing like that.
That got me.
A little snap. And I like the old school swirls, you know, like from the 90s. I love that.
PowerPoint swirl.
Yeah. Okay. Jesse, thanks for sending that in. It was great to see your shop. Also, very nice to see a very tiny shop.
Yeah.
Well, outdoor setup. Reminds me of my workshop about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had the same kind of little tiny thing. Every time I wanted to cut something, I'd go outside. You know?
As long as you're in a temperate place, that's fantastic.
It's true. It's true. You don't have to put gloves on. That's a nice benefit.
Yeah.
Jesse, send us an email at hello@shapertools.com, and we'll get you a little swag bag for sending that in. And if you haven't sent in a shop tour, please do. And make sure to include some of those little snap cuts.
Yeah. No pressure.
Yeah.
Reminder, landscape, narrated is always great, and around 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks,
All right.
Jesse.
No other announcements today?
Nope.
So, Jake, back to it.
Bow. This
Oh,
is...
if we had a transition cut to that?
That was, imagine the swirl.
Oh, yeah. Imagine it.
This is actually a file that I got from Shaper Hub. It is the what is it called?
Super duper guitar?
Super duper T-style body guitar. Anyways.
Just search guitar. In
yeah,
Shaper
it's
Hub.
got everything you need in there. Fantastic files. And even a little description of how to cut it. What we're going to do is we're going to inlay it into the head of this. And we got the idea from our friend Drew Witt at Whitworks.
Yeah, we should just quickly show this on the computer. So one of the things that we were looking at is, there's some interesting work holding problems when it comes to this guitar, because if we come over this camera here, the neck gets shaped out of a big single piece. And so how do you hold that? And so Drew had a pretty good idea here. And basically, we use Origin to cut the shape of the guitar head out. And essentially, it just fits perfectly into that. So we already have the file for the guitar. And all we did was, if we come over to this screen here, and I'll just play a quick second of it. You can see here, we just have it set up where it kind of fits perfectly in there. You can put a little double-sided tape in it if you want, and then cut into it. Now, Drew only cut an engraving. We're going to do a little inlay, so we're going to one-up Drew a little bit. If you're watching Drew, you're welcome. And we thought it'd be cool to show this technique. So
I just got 2 pieces of 3/4 MDF here, stacked up with double-sided tape in between. Cut the exact same profile out, and money.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't even need double-sided tape in this one. It's just like press fit it, and you're done.
I'm going to live life on the edge. I'm not
Yeah.
going to use double-sided tape.
I mean, welcome to my life, Jake.
Yeah.
This is also great if you have something. So, this concept where you cut that shape out is really awesome for things like this. So, I was working on some of these, and I wanted to engrave the bottom, and you cut these from the top. So, how do you register and put the text in the right spot? All I did was take this file, cut it into the MDF, put 2 finger pull holes in so I can grab and pull it out. Then I can put it in. That file already knows where it is. We could even export the file back to Studio, make sure everything's aligned, and re-import that file. And that's just like a super great way to realign to an already made object. So this trick is quite good for a ton of different things. But yeah, it's a nice one to have in your tool bag when you're like, dang, I got this thing I accidentally already cut all the way out. What do I do? Get some big chunky MDF, cut it all the way out, and just sneak up on that fit until you get it nice.
Yeah.
If you need to, put some double-sided tape in the bottom, but if you get it right, you don't even need the tape.
I'm going to go ahead and I just brought up my old workspace from what this is already cut out of. Going to import my design that just has the neck for alignment feature purposes. And the shape that I'm going to inlay. And for this particular application, just doing a visual alignment feels fine to me.
Yeah, and technically it is fine because if you have already cut that shape into the material, as long as those outlines are on line with each other, they'll be in the right spot.
Bingo. And that's what we're working with right there.
Nice.
So I'm going to do a bulk of the pocketing with the 4mm long reach. Because that's the other thing. Because this is 5/8 of an inch deeper, we have these big MDF walls kind of up and around our piece. I don't want to run my collet into that wall. So when you're out there looking for 16 or really tiny micro cutters, go for ones that have a longer shaft.
Yep.
So you have the option of doing these deep cuts. 4mm cutter going in.
You could also cut away a little bit of the top to like make clearance for the collet
Totally.
if you wanted to. That'd give you a little help and still having the holding power in the bottom.
So essentially taking this area and pocketing it out so that we don't run into it.
Yep. Yeah, because if you put, Origin's not going to necessarily know that that material's still there.
For my touch off, I'm going to make sure that I'm over my headstock and just touch off on it.
Nice.
Because that's what I want 0 to be.
Yeah, 0 should be the top of your material that you want to cut, not where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I can get away with most. I'm going to do a little cheating.
Okay.
Why does this give me a... Okay. I'm going to take my offset feature and bump it out until I can cut more of this pocket with this cutter. See me? I don't want to go overboard. Maybe 0.25.
Yeah, because pockets are always going to kind of downsize a little bit, but it doesn't know you're going to follow up with a really small bit, and so you're going to have areas that won't be cut with just an inside cut.
Yeah, and I'm doing this just so I can hog out more material. Okay, I'm going to a depth of 0.063, 16th of an inch, and I'm going to do this manual.
Ooh, nice.
Here we
Okay.
go.
Rock and roll. Yeah, so sometimes with especially small cuts like this, doing it manual can be faster. Bench Pilot's going to kind of follow an algorithm. If you know what you're doing and you know where you want to cut, especially with these small cuts, sometimes it's just faster to do it by hand. But, another option would be to put this in Bench Pilot with your small cutter and just tell it, go, and I don't care if it takes, 10 minutes to cut this because I'm going to go get something else done in the shop. But if you don't have bench pilot, this is a great way to do it to optimize your time. Is just change those spindles out so you don't have to pocket out so much by hand.
I figured sitting here watching bench pilot pocket with a 32nd of an inch cutter
Yeah,
was not the best use. of
no,
our time.
not the best use of sessions. But I will say, Jake, I've been a convert in the time world. 5 minutes of bench pilot means 5 minutes of me doing whatever I want.
That's true.
And where I would used to optimize for a big bit, followed by a smaller bit, followed by maybe even the smaller bit. Sometimes now I'm just gonna click go and I'll be back in 10 minutes.
This one's a tough one because it's all the way down there.
Might have to do an automatic Z touch
I might have to.
because you're not gonna be able to see down there.
Oh, let's see if I can sight down this edge. There we go.
Got it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shot. I like the one eye look.
Yeah, for some reason that helps.
Okay, now, you see what just happened there, Jake, is if you go down too far and you slip the bit a little bit or you drive the motor a little too hard, it's going to retract all the way up. And so you can just, once it finishes retracting, then you can lower it down a little bit. But if you kind of have this manual mode and you just press down and it hits anything, you'll see that automatic slow retraction happen because the Z-axis had a little bit of a motor slip.
Okay, now I got eyes on it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. There. Okay.
Nice.
A unique problem.
A unique problem. Well, this is what manual Z-Touch is for, there's a lot of weird situations you can get into, and it's always nice to be able to just tell it exactly where you want it to go.
Exactly. All right, so I'm now getting rid of that offset.
Yep.
And I'm going to do the rest of this pocket followed by an inside cut.
Okay. Okay, so Jake, here's what's happening. So if you ever get that message, essentially what's happening is where you Z-touched and how far you can go from where you Z-touched is too deep. So in this case, we need to pull that bit out a little bit more so we can get there.
That's all right.
Now, this is always a little bit of a pseudoscience of how far out can you pull a bit. The further you pull it out, the more flexible the bit essentially is. Now, if you look at how long this bit is, Jake can kind of show you the full depth of it. You don't want to just have like a tiny bit in, but there's probably like, I don't know.
I call it length.
Yeah, if you had a collet length in there, you'd be pretty good. But if you start getting less than that, I would say beware.
All right,
And then in that case, you're going to get a longer bit, a bigger bit, etc. All right.
One more manual Z-touch. Get my handy flashlight out. Perfect. It's amazing how small the motion is every time I tap the green button.
Very small. And the less you tap it, the smaller it'll go. All right, so now type in your depth and see if we can get there.
So it just went to 0.02.
So that means we're still not there.
You need to pull it out a little bit more.
Yep.
That's all right. We'll trial and error. We're
Well,
talking...
it's good because everybody else is going to hit the same problem, and then they'll know what to do.
Exactly. And we're talking a 32nd of an inch.
Yeah, so like Jake's doing here, he knows where it was, and he's just going to pull it out a little bit more and then tighten it back down. Yeah, and if you wanted to try to avoid this, obviously the closer your MDF is to your material, the more distance you have to travel. We have about an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch above it, so that's also eating into our range a little bit.
You know, I learned that you can put MDF through a planer.
Oh yeah,
I just assumed that it would go horribly wrong.
I put these tops for bench pilot through my planer all the time. If you notice the thickness of it, actually the head of the screws recessed quite far, and so you can plane off all your cuts multiple times. I mean, it kind of ruins your planer dust collection from nice wood to some gnarly stuff. But if you're not putting it in a field or fertilizing, you're probably fine.
All right, there we are.
Hey, look at that.
0.0625 rounded up to 0.063.
All right, let's cut it.
Here we go.
Now, you can see how tiny that is compared to the other cut. And so Jake's going to have a little bit more back and forth pocketing to do. But this is kind of why you would want to even use a bigger bit in the first place. Otherwise, you'd have to pocket this whole area out with that tiny little bit. And clearly, you know, that's not the best use of time. Now, it's going to switch to a pocket cut and essentially try to finish this shape up now instead of later. And so maybe he's going to look for his offsets. You know, we still got to make sure that fit is perfect. And, you know, it's better to do one and find out than do all three and find out. So, you know, this small area, move origin out of the way. And then let's see what we got. What do you think, Jake? Going to fit?
I think it's going to need a little more. But even if I think that, I always check for 0. Just a smidge. That feels pretty good.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe 3 thou.
Okay.
That's a negative 0.003.
One little pass around, and then hopefully perfect little fit. Now you can see Jake has lowered his auto speed, so when he holds that green button down, it doesn't zip through those corners as fast. And that's pretty important because if you were to have a really fast auto speed and you hit that button, it would just probably break that bit instantly. Ooh, what do you think?
I think it's going to go. Yeah.
Okay.
That's perfect. I will save the moment, though.
Yeah, save it all.
Savor it.
All right, so you're going to cut the other two.
Yeah, here we go.
Or other one, I guess. Yeah, when you're pocketing out with these micro bits, you do want to be a little more careful than if you were hogging out with, let's say, a 1/4 inch bit, because you're much likely to snap it when you go kind of in and out of those areas. So just take your time. Or let Bench Pilot do the work. One beauty of having just the tiny bit do all this work, though, is that, you know, sometimes you can get a little variance in the Z depth, and if you just use one bit the whole time, you don't really have to worry about that problem. Most of the time, it works out pretty well, but there's always so many little details when it comes to getting everything right. And so I've also resorted to using a single bit to try to, like, if I need a perfectly clean bottom, then I might just opt for one bit instead of trying to get all the depths to match up perfectly. All right, so he's gone ahead and made that 3 thou, just one and done. One and done Jake is his middle name. And the fact that he's already fit the other one makes sense that this one is probably going to be fine as well. Take your time. Don't rush through this. You know, any little rush here means that, you know, the side's not fully cut to properly, and you might have a little piece that, you know, is not fitting well. So, all right. What do you think?
Oh, it's money.
Winner?
Just getting rid of any fuzz.
Now, the beauty of how we've even set this up is you can take that head out, fit it, and if it doesn't work, stick it back in the jig, and everything goes back in the same spot.
That's how confident I am, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of one of the beauties of even building one of these jigs this way, is you get that ability to kind of take it out, work on it, and then put it back without having to think about, you know, all the drama. Ooh, put that one in the detail cam. Let's see what we got. Is it? Oh yeah, look at that.
There it is.
Very nice. All right. Need a hammer?
I don't think so.
No classic Jake hammer moment?
This one wants to go straight in. Pop.
Ooh, clickety click.
Okay, and pop.
Wow. Very nice. If you were going to rip a song on this, what would you rip right now?
This feels kind of like, I don't know, it's giving like Prince vibes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Little Purple Rain, maybe?
Purple
Let me
Rain.
see that thing. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Pretty classy.
There you go. Cutting mother of pearl with origin and bench pilot.
And a sick little jig. I think maybe you should do some more. We just put it right back in.
And just, yeah.
Yeah, the whole head, you know, all the way down.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always fun. And again, we will see you very soon back with our live show. Look forward to it. Thanks.